Hello everyone, Mr. Bunny1235 back here yet again. I had a suggestion from a commenter wanting me to do this ranking video. I have the lovely Blur 21 box set here to help me out with this list. It contains the complete works of Blur, almost. There's a few tracks missing. Colors being one of my favorite really rare tracks from Blur that did not make this box set, which is kind of strange, but it's most of the stuff. I've already taken the main albums out, but I'll give y'all a sneak peek of the other cool stuff that's in here. Poster from when they were called Seymour. That's really old school, before they changed their name to Blur. This is actually a 45 of their track Superman. It's pretty cool. You get a 45 of them performing a track. I think this is from like 1989 or 1990 that this track is recorded. There's nothing on the other side of the 45, but I think that's really cool to include something like this in the box set. Just get a taste of what Blur were before Blur were Blur, you know what I'm saying? So really cool thing to include. And last thing is the book, which has some really cool like early photos and whatnot and liner notes. It's kind of like these things that they've been doing with the every single time they remaster these Beatles albums. It comes with a book that's a lot like this, talking about each album individually and single covers and, you know, bandmate pictures and cool stuff. I haven't flipped through this in a few years, so that might be cool to revisit while I'm talking about this. Also comes with some rarities. These are demos and rare tracks, some really rough sounding cuts on these things. Really interesting though. You can really get a good sense of the making of some of these albums when listening to these compilations. I think that was a really neat thing to include in this set. And one of the last things is Showtime. This is 3 DVDs, 3 different concerts, and some bonus video content, mostly from the early era. It looks like here there's a Japanese promo video for It Could Be You on here. Just, you know, some rare cool video, Crazy Beat and Good Song promo videos from Think Tank. Really cool. I'd recommend some of these shows. My favorite concert still to watch is the No Distance Left to Run. I actually have that on DVD behind me. Comes with the documentary as well. That's a great show to watch. That was them playing in Hyde Park in 2009. Wonderful concert. Of course, you don't get the Magic Whip songs, but you know, you get the golden age of everything else. So that's good stuff. So anyway, with the help of this, I'm going to go ahead and rank my favorite Blur albums as of this moment. This is really interesting too. Quick side note, Midlife, The Beginner's Guide to Blur. I would definitely recommend getting this for anyone trying to get into this band, as apart from the normal greatest hits album that they have released, because this dives a little bit deeper into some deeper cuts and you get more than just some bass singles. So I think this is a pretty good compilation for someone getting new to Blur. Comes with the songs that people listen to a ton of, and it also contains some deeper cuts. So I definitely recommend this compilation more than the standard greatest hits. But let's go ahead and get into the countdown. I can talk about Blur all day. Got a good list here. I think some of you guys will agree with my opinions on this, and some of you won't, but that's okay. This is all me, and I'm a massive fan, and I would take any of these any day. So first on the list is Leisure. I don't think this will surprise too many people. The only thing I can say about this album is it just sounds very standard. It sounds like any band's first album, I guess, that are trying to I guess appeal to like a mass audience kind of thing. There's not really a ton of experimentation going on here. The singles are great, of course. You know, There's No Other Way, She's So High. I really enjoy the track I Know. I wish that one was a little bit bigger. I actually prefer the extended mix that's on I think the extra tracks on this. The Blur 21 box set, the standard albums also come with the second disc of other songs that we're recording during the sessions for the main album, and there's an extended version of I Know included on this that I prefer. There's actually a ton of B-sides that I really, really like from this first album era, which is odd. It's actually the album where I prefer the most B-sides. Most of these B-sides I don't really care for that much on other albums, but I like a lot of them that came from the first album's sessions, which is really weird to me. But anyway, yeah, Leisure, I like it, but it just it's not the Blur that I know or prefer, I guess. It's just some bands, they come out with their first album and it's going to be forever their best album. I don't think that's the case with Blur personally. It just feels very very safe. Feels like a very safe album, I prefer when they got a little bit more out there, so Leisure is the first album, number 8. Next up on this is going to be a controversial opinion for some people, but it's actually the self-titled Blur album. I know people are going to be really up in arms about this, but honestly, the only reason that it's this low on the list is the track Theme from Retro. I don't think that song should have been a part of the main album. I skip it every single time I listen to this. I enjoy like the first few seconds of it, but then it starts getting really repetitive to me. That track just doesn't seem to fit an album in my opinion, I guess. But there's some huge highlights on this thing for me. Strange News from Another Star is absolutely beautiful. I love Damon when he just does like piano only covers of that. I think it's great. You're So Great is one of the best Graham only songs apart from like Coffee and TV. Love that track. Chinese Bombs is okay. Not a huge fan of that. Like more of their fast, punky, really quick moving songs or whatever. I prefer like Bank Holiday over this one. I'm Just a Killer for Your Love too. I like the song, but it's definitely not one of my favorites on the album. Country Said Ballad Man is an underrated fucking gem. Of course, Song 2 is the one that everybody knows. I've heard Beetle Bum to death. I don't know. There's just, few reasons why this is so low in my personal opinion, because the rest of these I can listen to the whole way through, never skip a song. But I do appreciate them branching out and doing some weird stuff on here. They're trying to break into that American market with this album. Song 2 took off in America. I mean, everybody here knows that song. Nobody knows who Blur is, but they know that song, which is funny when I talk to people. But yeah, that's just my opinion on this album. So yeah. Next up on the list is The Magic Whip, the most recent album from 2015. This is definitely a more mature sounding Blur. You can definitely tell that the band has grown up from this point. I think this is one of the reasons why Damon went off and did Humans with Gorillaz after this came out. Because, he was just coming off of Everyday Robots, which is a really slow and kind of melancholy-filled album, and then he came out with this, which has some really pretty guitar melodies, and it's kind of chill, and it's more mature-sounding Blur. It's not rough and rowdy, hard-drinking Blur on this album, and then he decided to do Humans, which is just a total party album, so, I don't know. I still really, really enjoy The Magic Whip a lot. I love this album. I think it's perfect when you're in the mood for it. Huge highlights for me on this one. I Thought I Was a Spaceman is one of my favorite Blur songs of the whole discography, honestly. Love that track. Love the entire A-side of this, really. I've got the vinyl copy of this is down there as well. Ong Ong is cute. It's not one of my favorite things ever. And Mirror Ball is like, you could tell they just needed a closer for the album kind of thing. But still, Lonesome Street is fun. I love the album. I think this album's great. I think it's wonderful. Next up on the list is Think Tank. This was the album, it came out in 2003. Before 2015, we got the Magic Whip. This is the special edition of Think Tank. Comes with a few etchings of some lyric scratches on it, along with the main lyrics in there as well, which is really cool. I think it's pretty neat. You put the CD into a computer and it'll play a few live videos of 4 tracks from the album. But yeah, anyway, Think Tank. I really enjoy this album. I think it's chill. I think it's cool as hell. I think it's it has a really distinct sound to it. There's not much else that sounds like this album out there, which I really like. You know, you can definitely tell Graham's absence on this album, that the guitar lines are not near as strong. I think Damon was actually the one who took up the guitar lines on this album, in Graham's absence. Except for the track Battery in Your Leg, the very last track. Graham's on that one, but he's not on any other song. But anyway, huge highlights. Out of Time. Damon performs Out of Time all the time when he's doing those shows where he performs a bunch of his material, and I absolutely love that song. Good song, is chill as hell. On the Way to the Club is atmospheric as fuck. I love that track. Caravan, like, sends chills down my spine. I freaking love Caravan, especially when that like accordion solo comes in near the end. I love that track. Sweet Song is beautiful. Always reminds me of a few of my past relationships. It's a great song. Jets is a crazy, weird jam that I freaking love and really get into the groove to. I love the bass line on that. Gene by Gene is a lot of fun. Battery in Your Leg is a great closer. I don't know. I really like Think Tank. I think it's better than the Magic Whip in terms of a more chill album, because I think it has more of a distinct sound even than the Magic Whip does. So that's why it's slightly higher. It's a great album. It's a great album. Next up in this list is The Great Escape. This was kind of like Blur's attempt at like a concept album or whatever, trying to talk about how, you know, like uptight businessmen who only care about their money and don't care about like living life to the fullest or whatever. That's kind of the concept that I get from this album, from tracks like Arnold Same and It Could Be You and Charmless Man and Country House, and so many great songs on this album. I just think it's, you know, it's nice. It's a lengthy album. It tells a good story. The songs are really catchy. Fade Away is great. Top Man is great. Even the deep cuts should deserve to be singles, a few of them for sure. Best Days is a great slow song. Yeah, Stereotypes, amazing opener. This album just kicks ass, dude. Globe Alone is a fucking kick-ass song. I like Yuko and Hero. I don't know. I got nothing bad to say about The Great Escape, man. I know the band themselves said that this was a little bit of a disappointment album for them, but I don't hear nothing wrong with it. You know, I think it's fun. It's got its own distinct sound. It sounds lively. It reminds me of the album cover when I listen to it. Just a bright sunny day, you know, kind of hanging out at the beach or whatever. I really like this album. All right, top 3. Gonna get into Parklife. Of course. It's easily one of the best. You can definitely tell why the band got so much recognition after this album came out. It's a shame that nobody had kind of heard of them before they got national attention with this album all across the UK, but I can easily say why. I mean, like, it's poppy as hell. It's the epitome of Britpop. Probably the king of Britpop albums is this one. I don't think any other album comes close to what they were trying to do back then, other than this record. I mean, like, the instrumentation is great on it. Clover Over Dover is great. I actually saw the Cliffs of Dover when I went to the UK back in 2019. Absolutely beautiful. Really gave this song a whole new meaning to me. But yeah, anyway, This Is a Low is great. I mean, there's so much I could say that it's like, it just takes me away, really. I just love this album. You can definitely tell why, because it's freaking amazing. It's so good. All right, 2 more. Next up is Modern Life is Rubbish. Okay, now when we talk about old Blur, I'm not really reaching for Leisure that much. I'm always reaching for Modern Life is Rubbish. This album is hard rocking guitars. There's a lot of fun melodies on here. It's another kind of a lengthier album that just, I love the intermission. Oily Water is just drowns in this sonic tone near the end that I absolutely love. Sunday, Sunday, so fun. I mean, this album just blows me away, man. Oh, God. I'm actually filming this video on the 29th birthday of this album, which is insane. 1993. I love Modern Life is Rubbish so much. I mean, this could almost be my absolute favorite. Almost. It's so close to being my absolute favorite. I absolutely adore this album. I never get tired of it. Colin's Ill is great. Every track is great. I even like Resigned. You know, like some people don't like Resigned that much. I think it's chill as hell. I love the end of it. This is a great album. This is just an amazing album. Love it so much. And now my absolute favorite Blur album of all time is 13, released in 1999. Tender is like my freaking heart song, man. It's just like Tender is like the closest this band came to like writing their own like Wonderwall or Champagne Supernova or whatever the hell, if you want to talk about the whole Oasis thing. But it's Tender's so great. I know how to play it on real guitar, and even people who don't care for Blur that much love this song whenever I bring it up. And then I tell people that they need to listen to more Blur. But there's so many reasons that this is my favorite. Like this album is like the epitome of like experimentation and accessibility. You know, there's not many bands who can be this freaking weird and still be this mass appealing. I think that was quite a feat when it comes to this album. I feel like they tried to do that a little bit on the self-titled Blur album, but I think they freaking mastered it on 13 when it comes to experimentation. You know, like people who don't even really get into stuff like this or stuff that sounds as weird as this, you know, I feel like this would be a good entryway point into that world of sonic craziness. I also love that the singles don't really accentuate what this album is. You listen to Tender, Coffee and TV, and No Distance Left to Run, and you think this album is going to be like some folky, chill, kind of cute album, but then you listen to a song like Trailer Park or Caramel, and you get your freaking mind blown. Caramel, absolutely, I mean, like, that song almost makes me cry how emotional Caramel can feel at certain points, depending on your emotional state, I guess. Caramel just blows me away. Battle is so fucking sonically pleasing. The drums and how deep and just like the production is just freaking sick as hell on that song. Mellow Song, I love what it does in the beginning and then transitions into the more of this weird kind of electronic-y thing near the end. Trim Trab, I love how explosive it gets and how it almost gets into like a scary horror movie kind of feel near the end with the really loud guitars and the banging drums, and it's just so freaking cool. Swamp Song is fucking like... a Swamp Song just makes me want to like scream the lyrics. I have no idea like what it's about or like what he's saying sometimes, but I just freaking love the hell out of it. Yeah, this album's freaking mind-blowing. Easily one of their best, if not their best. Yeah, I just love the direction that they took on this and wanting to try to break out of the whole Britpop bubble and do something different and cool and experimental. I know Graham was getting sick of the whole Britpop thing at the time. That's why they went off and did the self-titled and pulled this off. Yeah, I might go listen to this right now, actually. As I'm talking about it, I'm thinking about the tracks now. So anyway, that is my ranking. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was fun to talk about Blur again. It's been a little while. I will see you guys soon. Mr. Rennie 1235 out.